Hear that? Nothing? Me neither. But that's the perfect spot for your company's name to step into the spotlight. Become an underwriter for As You Mic It and let every episode be your curtain call. Slip a note to podcast@pashakespeare.org for more information.
Hello, friends, and welcome to As You Mic It, the Prologues, your pocket-sized primer for Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival's 2025 Undiscovered Countries Summer Theater Series. I'm Connie Berenger, Associate Producer here at PSF, here to set the stage before you take your seat. Our prologue is a quick companion episode designed to arm you with plot essentials, thematic touch points, and a few production nuggets so you can stroll into Labuda feeling like an insider. Our next port of call, The Producers, Mel Brooks's riotous musical that asks, what happens when a get-rich-quick scheme accidentally strikes Broadway gold? To help chart this madcap voyage is our Director of Education and Community Engagement, Kim Carson, your guide through the tap-dancing accountants, oversized ambitions, and outrageous laughs that make The Producers a dazzling leap into our undiscovered countries.
Thanks, Connie. Let's talk about The Producers. I love The Producers. I'm a huge fan of the musical and of its creator, Mel Brooks. So I am so happy that we get to share this story with our lovely audiences in the Summer Theater Series this year. Our production will be directed by the phenomenal Jen Childs. And we've got some PA Shakespeare favorites like Scott Greer, Tony Lawton, and some new to PA Shakes folks like Michael Dougherty in the show this year. They're going to be terribly delightful. And we really can't wait to share this musical about the absurdity of show business, unlikely friendship, comedic subversion of historical trauma through humor, and the power of dreams and taking risks. So let's get into it. Max Bialystock is a perpetually struggling theatrical producer who finances his shows by seducing elderly wealthy women, who he charmingly calls his little old ladies. And when Leo Bloom, a nervous accountant doing Max's books, offhandedly suggests that a producer could make more money with a deliberate Broadway failure than a hit, Max sees a golden opportunity. Max and Leo hatch this plan to make a fortune by intentionally creating the worst musical ever and then pocketing the investors' money when it flops. So the duo sets out to create the most offensive, most politically incorrect, just plain awful play that they can find, and they land on a musical called Springtime for Hitler, a bizarre glorification of the Nazi dictator. And surely they think this will be a guaranteed disaster. But to their shock, and maybe a little bit horror, the audiences actually love this over-the-top, ironic musical, and it becomes a huge hit. So now Max and Leo have to scramble to avoid going to prison for their scheming. The producer's script was the brainchild of Mel Brooks, and with the help of Susan Stroman, who was the Broadway production's original director, the producer's musical was made. I want to talk about Mel Brooks just a little bit because he is such a integral part of comedic history and all of these efforts that he made with his humor throughout the years. It has influenced so much of theater and film and television. I feel like it's worth talking about Mel a little bit. He was born Melvin Kaminsky, born on June 28th, 1926 in Brooklyn, New York. And he is this legendary comedian. He's a writer, he's a director, he's an actor and a producer, and he revolutionized comedy in the 20th century. Growing up in a Jewish working class family, Brooks developed his sharp wit and comedic sensibilities early in life and using humor as a way to navigate challenging circumstances. After serving in the U.S. Army during World War II as a combat engineer, Brooks began his entertainment career in the 1950s as a comedy writer for television. He gained prominence working on the Sid Caesar comedy shows, where he collaborated with other comedy legends like Carl Reiner, Neil Simon, and this period was crucial in developing his unique comedic voice. He's won the Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and Tony Awards in his career. He's also been honored as a Presidential Medal recipient and a Kennedy Center Honors recipient. His comedy is characterized by its ability to find humor in dark or taboo subjects, using comedy as a weapon to deflate authoritarian egos and challenge social conventions. And that is certainly what he does with The Producers. The Producers has had a rich, notable production history since its origins as its 1967 film. The Broadway debut and revival. The producers first made the leap onto Broadway in 2001 with a production that starred Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick. And this high-profile adaptation was a huge critical and commercial success, winning a record-breaking 12 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. And the show enjoyed a prolific 6-year run before closing in 2007. And then in 2019, a new Broadway revival opened, co-directed by Susan Stroman, who was the director of the original Broadway version, like I said before. And this revival was praised for its faithful yet fresh take on the classic material. I asked Jen Childs to talk about our production a little bit and what folks can expect and what she's really excited about this summer. Jen Childs is a self-proclaimed comedy history nerd, and she describes Mel Brooks as one of her gurus. And she loves not only the song and dance, and is trying to make that great for our production. And she shouts out to Tara Jean Valley, who is our choreographer, and she says she's absolutely phenomenal. But Jen is also really interested in the book. The scenes are lengthy for a musical, and she finds it really juicy to dig into these really funny, really interesting scenes. And she hopes to honor the musical's roots, which was this very, very funny movie. You know, when the original film was released in 1967, it was groundbreaking in its willingness to use comedy to mock Nazi ideology by making Nazis look ridiculous. Brooks uses humor as this powerful weapon against hatred. The show embraces Jewish comedy traditions of self-deprecation and turning tragedy into comedy. And Mel Brooks has talked about that. You take power away from something when you're able to laugh at it. Jen Childs is also really excited about the natural rapport that Scott Greer and Mike Doherty have. They are playing Max and Leo together, and they have worked together in the past. They were actually just in a production of The Play That Goes Wrong, also directed by Jen. So she's really looking forward to that, along with Tony Lawton, who can do just about anything. It's going to be really fun to see him in Lederhosen. Also, Mike Doherty and Nicole Benoit have worked together in these roles before. Nicole plays Ulla, whose full name, I have to say it, is Ulla Ingen Hansen Benson Janssen Talen Hollens Vaden Svansen. So there will be a natural shorthand there between those actors. All these actors can go deeper, faster in rehearsals, which will end up giving us an even better performance. So Jen's really looking forward to that. Jen also mentioned that she's looking forward to see how Robbie Hager and Jameson Stern, who are playing Carmen Gia and Roger Debris, she's interested to see how these actors make these characters quirky and eccentric, and how they're going to make these characters really specific rather than simply these sort of like traditional broad stereotypes. Another thing Jen talked about that I want to share, this little like production nugget, as Connie had mentioned earlier. Jen talked about our production design a little bit. What our designer did was look at a lot of Broadway show designs and designs in Times Square and things like that from the era in which Producers takes place. And what they found was there are lots of big color blocks and lights. And so our design will be representational of that era's design feel, right? That sort of artistic feel. And Jen said that she kept thinking of a light bright where you can plug in different lights to make different pictures. So all of this inspiration allows us to make this really unique set and lighting design using light boxes, things that fly in and out. And this will allow us to move from location to location within the play. And it gives that feel of that grand old-fashioned Broadway musical that's very theatrical, but also really unique to our stage as well. We truly hope that you will join us this summer for the Producers. It runs June 11th through the 29th on the main stage at the Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival. And there you have it, your whirlwind tour of the Producers. If today's prologue sparked your curiosity, get your seats now at pashakespeare.org or ring our box office at 610-282-WILL. That's 610-282-9455.
And be sure to follow As You Mic It in your favorite podcast app for more mini episodes, bonus content, and our live Community Day recording later this summer. A heartfelt shout out to Chuck Gloman, Jarret Brown, and the entire TV film department of DeSales University for helping bring As You Might It to life. We'll be back soon with another prologue to chart the next undiscovered country in our summer theater series. Until then, for Kim Carson, I'm Connie Berenger, reminding you that some of the biggest hits begin with the boldest themes. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at Labuda. Thank you for listening to As You Might It, a Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival presentation recorded on the beautiful campus of DeSales University. Our music is by Cedric Lamar, with hosts Jason King-Jones, Kim Carson, and Connie Berenger. For more information on our summer theater series, giving opportunities, tickets, and more, visit pashakespeare.org. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you at Labuda.
Behind every standing ovation is a network of patrons who know that theater changes lives. With tickets funding only half the cost, PSF counts on contributions to produce world-class theater, cultivate new audiences, and nurture future generations of artists. Give today at pashakespeare.org/support. Great theater is a collaboration both on stage and off.